George Brown Huskies home opener. They are currently 0-2 so far this season. They are playing against the St. Lawrence Surge. This is the Surge's first season in the Ontario College League. They are currently 2-0. My name is Chloe Sinnott. I am with College of Sports Media, and here with me is Cohen Ingram, also with the College of Sports Media.
Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure. Early morning here in Toronto as we get ready for some volleyball all day long here at George Brown. It's going to be a good matchup. St. Lawrence, second seed in the East so far with just 2 games played with a 2-0 record. George Brown, 8th in the East with an 0-2 record, looking to bounce back here today.
The Huskies are starting to serve first. Number 8, Aaliyah Anderson, is set to serve. Number 5.
Nice.
And a miss.
It was a nice play there by the Huskies to start us off and get the first point on the board.
Received. Blocked by number 14 on the Huskies, Eleanor Sterling. Number 8 is to serve again for the Huskies. Nice save by number 5, Liz. Received by number 2 on the Huskies, Caitlin McCullough, and St. Lawrence gets the point.
Aaliyah Anderson getting up there for the block, putting St. Lawrence's first point on the board with a 2-1 score so far here.
Number 17 is set to serve, Maya Espajoy. Nice block by number 8, Laura Webster. And that is out, point for St. Lawrence Surge. Received by number 2, Caitlin McFug. Up to serve is number 5 for the Huskies, Karina Niamia. Nice spike by number 5 on the surge, Liz.
George Brown's defense just a little bit shaken up after that spike, had a bit of power to it, just bounced right off the hands and unable to recover. So we are now tied at 3 apiece.
Big spike by number 13 on the Huskies, Haley Marshall.
Both teams showing some power here.
Nice power by number 4, Daniela Corpuz. Set to serve is number 5 for the Huskies, Kara Niamia. Good spike by number 8, Aaliyah Anderson. Another big spike by Aaliyah. But the George Brown defense just couldn't get it back over the net.
Julia Gordon hustling for the ball. They're unable to get it as it almost went into the crowd here on the left side.
Set to Set to serve for St. Lawrence is Aaliyah Anderson, number 8. Big spike, but received by the Huskies. And that is out. That is a point for the Surge.
George Brown looking to clap back here after a 3-0 loss against Seneca in their last matchup. Home opener here, home crowd. Let's see if that's going to have an effect on this one.
And that is out. Point for the Surge. Number 8 is to serve again, Aaliyah Anderson for the Surge. Nice block by number 1 and 7 on St. Lawrence. Jaden Britt and Aaliyah Anderson. Set to serve again is Aaliyah.
That's 4 straight unanswered points here for St. Lawrence.
Big spike for St. George, for George Brown getting the point. Set to serve for George Brown is number 9, Julia Gordon. Good save by George Brown. Nice spike by number 9, Laura Webster. Another nice save by Liz on the Surge. And some miscommunication for George Brown. Number 9, Laura Webster is set to serve for the Surge. Good save by number 5. Once again, Liz on the Surge. And a great block from the Surge to get them another point.
It's Ava Ferguson once again getting up there, getting a handle on ball and knocking it back into George Brown territory. Make it 9-5 the score.
Up to serve again is Laura Webster. And that serve went out of bounds. Number 13 for the Huskies is up to serve, Haley Marshall. Big spike from the Surge.
Haley Marshall just unable to reach that one. In the back part of the court, able to get a hand on it, but it just gets away from her.
Number 1, Jaden Britt, set the serve over the net. And a nice spike by George Brown to get another point. Set the serve for the Huskies is number 12, Alexa Minlot. Big tip by the Surge. And then nice spike. But sadly, it went out of bounds. Set to serve for St. Lawrence is number 7, Ava Ferguson. That serve hit the net, and that is a point for the Huskies. Set to serve for the Huskies is number 8, Jessie Way. Nice set by number 7. Big save by number 2, Caitlin McFug. And a big block by number 14, Ellery Sterling.
Now, Caitlin McFun had a hustle play there, able to get to 2 separate spikes coming from the St. Lawrence squad, and a big reason why George Brown just got that last point.
Number 8, Jessie Way, just hit the net, and that is a point for the Surge. Number 17 is up, Maya Espajoy. Big point for George Brown after getting past the block set by the Surge.
Niamima gets up there with the spike. 2 defenders go up to block, and it just squeaks past both hands.
Big save by number 5, Karina Niamia. And that point goes to the Surge. Up to serve is number 5, Liz Furdenfer. Big block by number 8 on the Surge, Aaliyah Anderson. Number 5 is up to serve again for the Surge. Another good tip from Aaliyah Anderson, number 8.
Just 10 points away from collecting this set. St. Lawrence's is George Brown trying to recollect after getting a few points early. Now St. Lawrence is in control.
Nice spike by number 5, Karina Niamia, to get the point for the Huskies. Up to serve is number 14, Ellery Sterling for the Huskies.
That one just creeping up on number 8, Jessie Wee. It's now 16-11 on the board here in the first set.
Next to serve for the Surge is number 8, Aaliyah Anderson. Just squeaked past that block for a point for the Huskies. Up to serve for the Huskies is number 9, Julia Gordon. And that is an ace for number 9, Laura Webster.
And the Huskies are going to call a timeout here as they look to recollect. 18-12 is the score. Surge definitely in control right now, as some of the reserve players are going to go out and get a quick warm-up. We take a quick 4-minute break up here in the booth. I'm Cohen Ingram alongside Chloe Sinnott. We'll be right back in just a few moments. Sorry, not a 4-minute break there, as it was just a 1-minute break as we are quickly back in action. I'm going to pass it back over to Chloe. She's on play-by-play here today.
Thank you, Go. And next to serve is number 9, Laura Webster. Big point for the Huskies. They're inching closer after that timeout. Set to serve for the Huskies is Haley Marshall, number 13. And that went out. Point for the Surge. Set to serve is number 1, Jaden Britt. Nice block by number 12. Alexa Minlott to get the point for the Huskies. Substitution, number 2, Caitlin Mack is out and number 14 is in. Big block by number 14, Eleanor Sterling. Set to take the serve is number 12, Alexa Minlott. Just squeaking past that block. And that one is out. The Huskies are inching closer to the Surge, just 3 points behind. Just squeaking past that block once again. Nice dig by number 12, Alexa Minlott.
Minlott with the last-ditch effort, able to try to get to that volleyball. Teammates were just unable to recover.
And that is out. Not able to recover that spike. Number 5 getting that point.
Huskies are slowly crawling back here, just down 3 points in the set. Espejo with the nice setup there to help the Surge climb 4 points closer, or excuse me, 1 point closer, 4 points away from collecting this first set.
Nice spike by number 9, Julia Gordon. Big ace by Karina Niamia to get another point for the Huskies. She is back up to serve. Big block by number 9, Laura Webster. The Surge are 3 points away. That is a timeout called by the Huskies.
So far in this first set, Surge showing their defensive strong suits, getting most of their points early off of blocks from spikes coming from the Huskies. Huskies getting some power behind the ball, just unable to get it past the defense lining up in front of the net.
Set to serve for the Surge is Liz Furtifer. Point for the Huskies as that ball did not get over the net. That is a point for the Huskies as number 5's spike went out of bounds. Number 14. Timeout is called by the Surge.
Just a few moments ago, everybody here in the crowd might have thought the Surge could pull away with this first set, but the Huskies are crawling back into it, just down 1 point, as the Surge are forced to call a timeout and rediscuss what their game plan is heading into these final points.
Number 14, Ellery Sterling is set to take a serve. Number 8, Aaliyah Anderson, hoping to finish off the set in 2 points. And that ball goes out of bounds. That is a point for the Huskies.
And Anderson back to the bench as they're going to sub her out for number 6, Smith Nujaj.
Julia Gordon for the Huskies up to serve. Nice block by number 12, Alexa Minlot. It is now a tie game, 23-23.
I don't think you can start a match much better than this.
And that was out of bounds. That is a point for the Surge. Number 10. Number 9, sorry. Laura Webster is up to serve for the Surge. And that serve goes out of bounds. That is a point for the Huskies. It is tied again, 24-24. Number 13, Haley Marshall, is set to serve for the Huskies. And that serve hits the net. That is a point for the Surge. Number 1, Jaden Britt, is up to serve.
And a big serve there coming from Jaden Britt. She's going to collect it for the Surge here, 1-0.
The Surge and Huskies are now switching sides to start the second set.
And Chloe, I think we are definitely in for a high-action matchup here today. A great first set to start us off, with plenty more to come. Huskies really showing that they're in this battle, as the record is 0-2. Surge is 2-0, but George Brown seems to be in this one fairly tightly, as we've seen with the score in that first set. Anything can happen here today.
And we are back with the second set. The first set ended 26-24 for the Surge, hoping the Huskies can get the second set and tie it up. The Surge are serving first. Nice block by number 5. That is a point for the Surge after a little bit of miscommunication. Nice save by Caitlin Muck. Nice block by the Huskies. Karina Niamia with that block.
Namima leading the team in kills this season and digs per set, actually 4th in the OCAA with 4.5.
Big spike by number 14, Ellery Sterling.
And another big name for this Husky squad, 9 kills so far on the season and 2 games played.
But that point goes to the Surge as there is a net violation. Big spike by Ava for
Inima collects her 2nd kill of the day and puts that at 12 for the season.
Number 14 with a big block, Eleanor Sterling to tie the game at 3.
Sterling and Nanima battling it out here for the Huskies. A big part of those 3 points on the board so far in this set.
And that is an ace for Karina Niamia.
Get a big celebration from the Huskies bench here after that point. The energy is getting higher and higher as the game goes on.
Just squeaking by number 14, Eleanor Sterling. That is a point for the Surge. And that ball hits the roof. That is a point for the Surge. Another net violation. That is a point for the Surge. Aaliyah Anderson is set to serve for the Surge. That is Sterling with the spike, but sadly it went out of bounds for a point for the Surge. Anderson is back for the serve. Big block from the Surge. And a big spike.
Wow, what a setup there. Jaden Britt with the block, followed by a Jaden Britt spike to get the Surge another point on the board.
Anderson is serving again for the Surge. A nice block from the Surge. And that is a timeout called by the Huskies.
A promising start to this set from Sterling and Nanima as the Surge were able to get back into it. 9-4 the score so far in this set as the Huskies look to crawl back.
And that is the end of the timeout. We are back with Anderson taking the serve for the Surge. And that ball went out of bounds. That is a point for the Huskies. Sterling is set to serve for the Huskies. Just squeaking past that block. The Surge gets that point. Laura Webster serving for the Surge. Nice tip by Malott. Big spike by the Huskies, but it was out of bounds. Set to serve for the Surge is Ferguson. Excuse me, Webster. And that is a point for the Huskies as the ball stayed inbounds. Big spike from Ava Ferguson. Sorry, Jaden Bratt. Up to serve is also Jaden Bratt. Britt.
In set number 2, the Surge definitely have the wheels rolling. Jaden Britt leading the way, showing off the vertical 2 points ago as she gets ready for the serve.
Big spike from Julia Gordon, getting the point back for the Huskies. Now up to serve is Julia Gordon. Just squeaking by that block. Ava Ferguson is up to serve for the Surge. And that is an ace for Ferguson. big block from Aaliyah Anderson for the Surge to get the ball back to Ava Ferguson. A timeout is called by the Huskies.
I will say, Chloe, there's been 3 big standouts so far for the St. Lawrence Surge in this match. It's been Jaden Britt getting some big points, able to get up there with the vertical and get down on the ball. And then another one would have to be Ava Ferguson doing the exact same thing, just a little bit less action than Britt so far. And then defensively, it has to be Aaliyah Anderson. Some big blocks so far in these first 2 sets. Not letting too many spikes from the Huskies get past her. And a big reason for this lead is those 3 players that I just mentioned.
And we are back from the timeout. Ava Ferguson is set to take the serve for the Surge. And that was a fault from the Huskies. Point goes to the Surge. Ava Ferguson back to take the serve. Another great save for Ava Ferguson and a big block from Jada Moreau. What a rally this has been for both teams. And that ball goes out of bounds, and that is a point for the Huskies.
Just a slow tapper over the net, looking to catch the Huskies off balance, but it just goes slightly out of bounds. The Huskies collect a point.
Alexa Minlot up to serve. And that is out of bounds. Just squeaking by that block, got the point for the Surge. A little bit of miscommunication by the Surge, and the point goes to the Huskies. Jada Moreau. And that ball goes out of bounds. That is another point for the Huskies.
You can see number 2, Kayla McFung, being very vocal there, letting her teammates know that that one's going to go out of bounds and for nobody to chase after it.
And a substitution for the Surge. Number 10, Macy Bentley is in for the Surge. And number 12, Megan Beta. Megan Beta to take the serve for the Surge. Big tip from Ferguson. And a massive spike from number 1, Jaden Britt.
My goodness, Britt getting up there and putting some heat behind that one, as I believe it echoed throughout the entire gymnasium here at George Brown.
And that is an ace for Megan Beta. A substitution for George Brown as Alexa Pinjoy goes in. And that serve hits the net, and that is a point for the Huskies.
Husky Nation, we need you to chant. Let's go.
One thing I will say about this Husky squad, with it being 22-11 right now in the set, you'd think most people would start having their head down and giving up, but that's not it at all here for the Huskies.
A big ace for Nehemiah.
Let's go, Huskies. Let's go. Let's go, Huskies. Let's go. Let's go, Huskies. Let's go.
A great save from Nehemiah. And that is a point for the Surge as the ball went out of bounds. The Surge are just 2 points away from taking the second set. Ava Ferguson is back to take the serve. Just squeaking past that block from the Surge. And a big block by number 14, Eleanor Sterling. Ellery Sterling, sorry. Sterling back to take the serve for the Huskies. A big block by number 10 on the Surge, Macy Bentley, but the ball went out of bounds. Sterling up to serve once again. Nice spike by number 12, Alexa Minlot.
With the Surge being 1 point away from collecting this set, you may think the Huskies are burning some energy here, but really they're just setting themselves up for that third set and getting the momentum rolling into there.
Just squeaking past that block. Sterling tried to save it, but they just couldn't get it back over the net. The Surge take the second set. And we are back for the third set. The Surge have the lead 2-0. The Huskies are hoping to win this third set to bring them closer to the victory.
That core three I was talking about earlier back out there for the Surge.
Husky Nation, we need you on your feet. Come support the team. Let's go, Huskies.
Now, I will say one thing, Chloe, the energy here so far in the building, it's only 3 p.m. Eastern. This is quite an electric crowd, if I do say so myself.
Every point they are cheering for the Huskies or the Surge. The great atmosphere for these players. Ellery Sterling is back to take the serve for the Huskies to start set 3. Nice block by Julia Gordon on the Huskies. But the block that got the point was from Lara Webster on the Surge. Just squeaking through that block, set for the Surge. Great recovery. And a violation for the Huskies gives the point to the Surge. Great spike from the Huskies. Julia Gordon is set to take the serve. Great rally from both teams, but number 12, Megan Beta, gets the point for the Surge. And now she is back to take the serve. And that is an ace for Megan. Big spike from the Huskies. And that is an ace for the Huskies.
Just able to catch the corner there on the serve. Surge were gonna let it go, but referee had his eyes right on the line and made sure that it was in.
And that spike goes out of bounds. And the Huskies get the point to tie it up 4-4. Jessica Bowmaster just couldn't get that over the net for the third time. Aaliyah Anderson is set to take the serve for the Surge. And that is a point for the Surge because the ball hit the antenna on the net. Anderson back to serve. Just squeaking through the block laid by the Huskies.
What a great team effort here by the Huskies on this play. What a big rally.
And the Huskies get the point after an amazing rally from both teams.
I don't know about you, Chloe, but Caitlin McFung looked like she was all over the place there, collecting those spikes left, right, and center, keeping it alive for the Huskies as they're able to collect a point on the play.
Great serve by the Huskies. And a nice block from number 14, Ellery Sterling. And that point goes to the Huskies because of a net violation.
Huskies collecting their first lead in a while. This could be a big momentum shift here for the home squad.
Just squeaking through the block set by the Huskies. And a big block from the Surge. Laura Webster set to take the serve for the Surge. The game is tied at 7. And that ball went out of bounds. A little bit of miscommunication by the Surge defense as the point goes to the Huskies.
Maya Espejo diving out for that one, and you could hear the squeak off the floor. She wasn't able to cover too much ground there as the Huskies collect a point. Heads up there as the volleyball comes straight towards the commentary booth here in the gymnasium. We got to keep our eyes on a swivel here.
Big block by Eleanor, but the ball just squeaks through to give the point to the Surge. Jaden Britt is back to take the serve. Just squeaking past that block. And number 14, Sterling, gets the point for the Huskies. A big pancake from the Surge, and the point goes to the Surge after an amazing spike. Ava Ferguson set to take the serve for the Surge. And that ball just squeaks by the block to give the point to the Huskies. The Huskies have a 3-point lead.
Sterling's been on fire this game so far. Few big points added to the board here for the Huskies, and she's had a big part in all of it.
And Maya is set to take the serve for the Surge. And that ball goes out of bounds to give the point to the Huskies. It is now 13-10 for the Huskies. Ball just squeaking through the block. And that point goes to the Surge after a two-touch hit. Megan Beta set to take the serve. Ball just squeaked through the block of Alexa Malott, excuse me. And that point goes to the Huskies.
Haven't been able to get much more than a 2-point lead so far in this set. So either the Surge could get back into this one. Huskies would like to take it away though.
And that point goes to the Surge as the ball goes out of bounds. Aaliyah Anderson is set to take the serve for the Surge. And that is a missed spike from the Huskies, giving the point to the Surge, tying the game at 14. Anderson back to take the serve. Big spike from Nehemiah. And that point goes to the Surge.
Defensively, the Huskies were able to get to that ball, but it just gets out of the hands and out of control and out of reach as the Surge now take a lead.
That ball just gets past the block. And that point goes to the Huskies to tie the game back at 15. And that is an ace for the Huskies, as the Surge just couldn't get to the ball in time. And that ball is inbounds for the Surge to tie the game at 16. Laura Webster is back. Nice save from the Surge. And that is Mia getting that point for the Huskies after an amazing spike.
They're back into this one, collecting the lead back. Just a few more points to go.
And that is a point for the Surge after an amazing spike.
McFung laid out for it, just got out of the hands and out of control as it went back towards the Huskies bench. And the game is back to being tied once again.
Jaden Britt is set to take the serve for the Surge. That is a point for the Huskies as the ball gets past the block.
Seven points away from collecting their first set on the day, and their first set in 2 matches. They lost in 3 straight last time against Seneca in their last matchup.
And that ball flies out of bounds for the point to the Surge. Ava Ferguson back to take the serve for the Surge as it is tied 18-18. And that ball goes out of bounds, and the Huskies get the point.
Ellery Sterling back to the bench now. Subbing in, I believe, is Haley Marshall as she gets ready to serve the ball.
Jaden Britt tried to save that ball, but it went into the bench and she just couldn't get it back onto the field.
She seemed fearless heading into the bench as she collided with one of the chairs there along the line. And the ball was not too many inches away from the camera, as you may be able to see at home.
That ball just squeaks by the block set by the Huskies. And that point goes to the Huskies after a violation by the Surge. And the Surge take a timeout. The Huskies have the biggest lead they've had so far in this set.
Now for George Brown, the Huskies only winning one set so far in the regular season, and that was against Georgian College, where they lost 3-1 in 4 sets, but have a chance to win their second set of the year, a big one that is, as they're facing off against the second seed in the East.
We are back from the timeout, and the Huskies are taking their serve. Big point from Liz to get the surge back in the game.
Frey Underfer really getting up there for the spike, going down on it hard, and the defense just didn't have enough time to react.
And another big point for the surge, as Ferdinander gets the spike once again. That ball just gets past the block. And that is a big point for the Huskies, as they are 2 points away from taking the third set.
That was the Atlantic Canadian from Plaster Rock, New Brunswick, Jessica Bowmaster, putting some heat on the ball. 2 points away from collecting their second set of this season.
And that ball goes out of bounds, and the Huskies are 1 point away. And a timeout is called. And we are back from the timeout. The Huskies taking the serve for their match, for their set point. And that point goes to the Huskies, taking the third set and their second set of the season.
As I said there at the end of the second set, the Huskies were able to collect a few points back to back before falling short in set number 2. I believe the momentum that they carried in those few points that they collected unanswered definitely rallied into the third set, helping them collect their first set of the day. And the point totals throughout the first 3 sets of this match. The Surge, 71 points total. A big one coming from set 1 when they scored 26-24, collecting first set. And for the Huskies, 64 total points. Weren't able to get what they wanted in set 2, but clap back in set 3 after just being head-to-head in set 1. I feel like we're in for a very, very head-to-head set 4 here. Just a few moments.
Husky Nation, where are you? I want to hear you. We need all the support. Remember, force the 5th set. Let me hear you. Let's go, Huskies. Let's go. Let's go, Huskies. Let's go. Let's go, Huskies. Let's go.
And the Huskies home crowd has the chants rolling here Saturday afternoon.
And we are back for the 4th set. As the Surge take the first set of the 4th. And that point goes to the Huskies as a little bit of miscommunication happened on the Surge's end. Laura Webster's up to take the serve for the Huskies. And that ball just squeaks past the block. And a nice tip. But the Surge save it. And another big save for the Huskies. And that ball is inbounds after a big spike from Sarah Campbell. And that ball is out of bounds. And the Huskies get the point. Jessica Bowmaster is set to take the serve for the Huskies. And that is Jaden Britt with a small tip to get over the block set by the Huskies.
All game long, Jaden Britt's been showing off her velocity on the spikes, but that time she just gets a soft touch over the net, throws the defense off, and collects the Surge another point.
Big block, big spike from the Huskies to get it over the block, and that is a point for the Huskies. Alexa Minot. Big block, and that is inbounds. And that is a point for the Surge.
Alexa Milo was right there next to the volleyball. Thought it was going to go out of bounds, decided to leave it, and it just hits the line, giving the Surge a point.
And that is an ace for the Surge, as the Huskies just couldn't That was Sterling getting the ball through the block set by the Surge to get a point for George Brown. And that is another point for the Huskies after getting it past the block set by the Surge. Jada Morrow up to take the serve for the Huskies. And Jaden Britt tried for the pancake, but just couldn't get enough on the ball to pop it up for her teammates. Morrow is back to take her third serve. A great block from the Huskies to put it back over to the Surge's side and get the point for the Huskies.
What a performance this front line is having here for the Huskies. Between Sterling, Namima, and Gordon, all of them are getting in the action and getting defensive plays when needed most.
And that ball just creeps over to the Huskies side after hitting the net, and that point goes to the Surge. It is Jaden Britt taking the serve for the Surge. And that ball hits the roof, and the point goes to the Surge. Britt is back again to take the serve. And that ball goes out of bounds. And that is a point for the Surge. Jaden Britt back for her third straight serve, tying the game up at 7. That ball goes out of bounds, and that is a point for the Huskies.
One thing I've noticed that's definitely changed in this Huskies squad throughout the the first few sets is the communication. The communication so far in this set, as well as that third set in the second half, it's been top tier.
Big spike from Julia Gordon to get a point for the Huskies.
And what a set she's having. Every time I look for the ball, all I see is number 9 jumping up and trying to hit at it. So far, it's been working for this Husky squad.
A great save. And Jaden Britt tried for the spike, but just couldn't get it over the net. Nehemiah is up to take the serve for the Huskies. And that ball just gets past the block, and that is a point for the Huskies.
It's a full dance party going on in front of us in the Huskies bench. They are fired up.
Nehemiah back again, take the serve. There was a violation on the Huskies, but the refs have to communicate to see what actually happened. The point goes to the Huskies as there is no violation. Nehemiah is back again to take the serve.
And it's number 5, Frey Underfer, going up to the referee table to discuss what the call is here, just for some reassurance. As the last thing this Surge squad wants is for it to be at tied. 2 sets apiece heading into the 5th set. And they're going to give the call to the Surge here.
Now Sterling is going up to the referees to get more clarification on why the point has changed.
Now, I will say, Chloe, I've never watched a sport where officials have regathered to discuss a call, make one call, rediscuss, and then turn it around for the other team. It is mixed emotions on both sides of the court right now. Nobody's quite sure what to think, but it seems like we're going to get this one back underway now.
And we are back with the Surge getting the serve. And that one just squeaks by the Surge's block. And a big save from the Huskies as they get it back over the net. And a big tip. And the Surge get that point as the Huskies just couldn't get a handle on the ball. Ava Ferguson is back for the Surge. And a big block from the Surge. And a little tip. But the Huskies control it. And that ball just gets past the block. And a big set gets it over the net. And another save by the Huskies. Oh. And the Surge just couldn't control that one as the point goes to the Huskies. Ellery Sterling is back to serve for the Huskies. That one gets past the block, set by the Huskies. And a big tip, but another block. Oh, and another block from the Surge. But the Huskies save that ball. Oh, and a sneaky little bump over the net. And a big block, but it gets through. And the ball just keeps going back and forth. And the Huskies get the point. Jessica Bowmaster gets that point for the Huskies. Just squeaking through the block. Big set, and it's a point for the Huskies.
This is their biggest lead so far here on the day, and one thing I'm going to notice is number 14, Ellery Sterling, the 6'1" first year from Toronto, is having a big role here for the Huskies. First year, you usually don't see a big leadership role, but she is definitely taking charge for this squad so far today.
And Sterling is out of the game, substitute for Maku.
And it's nothing but smiles over here on the Huskies bench as they hold a 5-point lead now as that one goes out of bounds.
Julia Gordon is up to take the serve for the Huskies. Big spike, but the ball goes out of bounds. Gordon is back to take another serve for the Huskies.
Both teams cutting down on the use of timeouts in these last two sets. They just want to get ball rolling as it's been head-to-head all day long.
That ball just squeaks through the block again. And that is a point for the Surge. And that ball is out of bounds as the Huskies now it is ruled inbounds as the Surge gets the point. And that ball hits the roof, and the Surge get another point after an overpowered serve. That ball gets over the block. And that ball is out of bounds as the Huskies get the point. Jessica Bowmaster is back to take the serve for the Huskies. A big block by the Huskies, and the Huskies get the point as the Surge can't hold on to that ball. Bowmaster is back again for the serve.
Seeing a lot of bow emotes here on the bench.
And that serve goes out of bounds. Lara Webster is up to take the serve. Sorry, Aaliyah Anderson is up to take the serve for the Surge. Big spike for the Huskies, but the block from the Surge just was too tall.
Surge are slowly crawling back into this one, just down 3 as 18-15 is the score.
A sneaky little tip by the Huskies, but a big spike, but it was saved by the Surge. Another good save by number 2. And that ball is in bounds as the point goes to the Huskies.
6 points away from tying this one at 2 sets apiece. If I said that in the first set, would you believe it? So the Huskies are crawling back here in this one.
A big spike by Jaden Britt to pull the momentum over to the Surge. And a big spike from Sterling as they are only 5 points away from taking the 4th set and tying the game 2 sets to 2. Oh, and that sneaky little serve gets over for an ace for Jada Morrow. And the Surge call a timeout to regroup for the and we are back from the Surge's timeout. The Huskies are 4 points away from taking the 4th set. Jada Morrow is back to take the serve for the Huskies. A sneaky little tip by the Surge to get the point and close the gap. Jaden Britt is up to take the serve for the Surge. That ball hits the roof, and that is a point for the Huskies as the Surge just couldn't handle that spike.
Just 3 more points, Chloe, and the Huskies tied at 2. Will it happen here?
And that ball goes out of bounds after it ricocheted off of a few players on the Surge. They are now 2 points away from taking the 4th set. A big block from the Huskies to keep it on the Surge's side. And that is a net violation by the Huskies as the Surge gets the point. Sterling is going over to explain what happened, but the point stays to the Surge. Ava Ferguson is set to take the serve for the Surge. A big spike from the Huskies And now they are 1 point away from taking the 4th set. Maria Altman is in for the game to take this hopefully final serve for the Huskies.
And it's going to be a quick timeout called here by the Surge with 1 point left to go here for the Huskies to tie it up at 2 sets apiece. Coaches want to rediscuss with the starters on their game plan heading into this set, the rest of it, and potentially set number 5, the final set here in this matchup between George Brown Huskies and the St. Lawrence Surge.
And we are back from the timeout. Once again, Maria Altman is in to take the serve for the Huskies. And a little bit of miscommunication between the Surge for the Huskies to get the last point of the 4th set to take the victory. The sets are now tied 2-2 as they go into the final 5th set. This set goes to 15 points.
Now, the Surge are used to being in 2-2 sets as their last win was a 3-2 win over Loyalist that was forced into the final set. As their 2-0 record, they want to hold that as long as possible. And for the Huskies, they're just crawling to get their first win of the regular season. That could potentially be a big turnaround, for the rest of the season ahead.
And as I said earlier, this is St. Lawrence's Surge's first season in the Ontario College League. They're hoping to set the tone and hoping to get a 3-0 record going in to the rest of the season.
Now for a team that's just coming into the league this year, the Surge, you can't tell one bit that they're a new squad. Their communication has been unreal all day long, and the coaching staff has been very involved with the players. They seem like they already have a tight bond, and we are just in the beginning of this volleyball season.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're heading into set 5. Let me hear it for your George Brown Huskies!
And we are back for the 5th set, the 5th and final set of this game. This is the first full set matchup that the Huskies have been to this season so far.
Not too bad of a start for their 3-game home stretch here for the George Brown Huskies. They're facing off against St. Lawrence today, Canadore tomorrow, and then Centennial next Saturday. 3 straight home games, 1 win on the board. will do plenty for the games ahead.
And the first point goes to the Huskies as a missed serve hits the net. Julia Gordon is set to take the serve. A big block for the Huskies as they get the second point of the match. Gordon is back to take her second serve of this set. And it just tips over, but it is saved by Britt. Just getting over that block. A big save for the Surge as Britt sends it back over the net. And that point goes to the Huskies.
And Chloe has two people from the East Coast of Nova Scotia. Nothing we love to see more than some Atlantic stars getting to showcase their talents on the big stage, just like Jessica Bowmaster is doing right now for the Huskies.
A miss serve by Gordon gives the Surge their first point of the set. A great spike by number 12, Alexa Malott, to give the point to the Huskies.
This Huskies bench has got a duffel bag full of celebrations that they're pulling out left, right, and center here as they extend their lead to 3.
A great block from the Huskies, but the point goes to the Surge.
Caitlin McFung laying out for the pancake there. Looked like she had a piece of it, but the official says no.
A sneaky little serve from Aaliyah Anderson as it just trickled over the net for the third point. She is back at the line for another serve. That ball goes out of bounds, and that point goes to the Huskies as they are just 10 points away. Alexa Malott is back to serve for the Huskies. A big spike, but a bigger block by the Huskies. And that is a net violation by the Surge to give the point to the Huskies. Sorry, a net violation by the Huskies to give the Surge a point. A sneaky little net tip by Ava Ferguson to get the point for the Surge and tie it up at 5.
This fifth set is going to be a movie, folks. Head-to-head matchup all day long. Now it's down to the wire. Who will come out on top?
A big spike by the Surge, and it wasn't. And a timeout is called by the Huskies as the Surge take the lead 6-5 in the final set. And the timeout is over, and we are back on the court. The score is 6-5 for the Surge in the final set. The Surge are getting the serve. Megan Beta sends the serve over to the Husky side, and a sneaky little tip by Sterling, but sadly that went out of bounds, and the point goes to the Surge. Beta is back to take the serve. Another big spike by Sterling, but again, it goes out of bounds. Both teams are switching sides as it is halfway through the fifth and final quarter set.
Quite a lengthy match so far. We're already at 2 hours of total time since the game has started. And the energy hasn't died down one bit.
A big spike by Jaden Britt, but it goes out of bounds, and the point goes to the Huskies. A missed spike by Ava Ferguson as it hits the net. So the point goes to the Huskies. And a missed spike for the Huskies gives the point back to the Surge as Jaden Britt is set back to the line for her serve. A sneaky little tip by Ferguson, but the ball goes out of bounds, and the point goes to the Surge as Britt heads back to the line once again.
Surge are 2/3 of the way to victory here with 10 points on the board. Huskies at 7.
And a spike by Liz gives the Surge a point, and a timeout is called.
Surge extending their lead now to 4 as the score is 11-7 in this final set. Surge 4 points away from victory. The Huskies looking to regroup in this timeout, get back out onto the court, make this a match once again. They've shown it already that they can come back into this. Why not do it a second time?
The match is never over between these two teams. Both teams have found a way to come back from being down. And we are back from the timeout. The surge will start with the ball as Jaden Britt takes her serve. And a big spike from the Huskies to get the point. That point was scored by Julia Gordon. Big block from the Huskies to keep the point alive. And a big block from the surge, and that ball is too hard to handle for the Huskies as the surge gets the point. Ava Ferguson is back at the line to take the serve for the surge. And it is a miss serve by Ferguson as it hits the net and the Huskies gets the point.
Got 2 substitutions being made over on the Huskies side as it's going to be number 12, Alexa Malo, coming in, as well as number 21, Mariah Altman.
And it is a pancake and it is saved. And the point is given to the surge as the ball stayed in bounds. The Surge are just 2 points away. And a great save by Maya as Jaden Britt hits a big spike, but it is received by the Huskies. And that ball is out of bounds as the Huskies gets the point. They are just 3 points behind the Surge. Gordon is set to take the serve for the Huskies, and that ball goes out of bounds. And that is a point for the Surge.
Huskies have dealt with their backs being against the wall all day today, climbing back by a 2-set deficit. No reason why they can't do it right now.
And it is a mishandled ball by the Surge, and the point goes to the Huskies. Jessica Bowmaster back to the line to take the serve for the Huskies. And that ball is inbounds as Jaden Britt just won the game for the Surge.
And what a match, Chloe. Surge get a 2-0 set lead. Huskies, the home squad, able to crawl back, tied up at 2 apiece. And it seemed pretty head-to-head the entire 5th set until the Surge reached that 10-point mark and kind of took it away, as that's going to do it here for this matchup. Coming up next, it's going to be the men's side battling it out here on the court between the Surge and the Huskies as well. Stick around for that, as that will be coming up in just a few moments.
My name is Chloe Sinnott with CSM, and I'm here with Cohen Ingram, also with CSM, and we want to say thank you for joining us. and I hope you join us in the next matchup.
Yes, thank you all for showing up and showing out in this great head-to-head matchup between the Surge and the Huskies, as that will do it from us here. See you all next time.